What's up, boys? In today's video, we're going to learn how to play Tank, Viking, in Terran versus Terran. This was an idea requested by Waza, so thank you very much for requesting this. And as you've requested a very toxic build order, I have for sure prepared just that for you. It is horrible to play against this on ladder. A lot of people struggle with it. And if you want to know how to beat Mech with Bio, I have a video on it I'll put on screen now. Now, without further ado, let's get into the replay. This is me playing against the very easy AI, and I'm just showing exactly what the build should look like and the order of everything, basically. So, what we're going to do is we're going to play a gas first build order with a Reaper expand, basically. So it's gas first Reaper expand into a quick Cyclone and a very quick third base. And the reason why we're going for a very quick third base is not because we want to play greedy necessarily. I feel like it's pretty easy to defend the third base with this build, but we want to make sure that we are not falling behind economically versus a bio player. And by getting a really fast third base, we are basically starting to combat the eco. So, we are going to go for our gas first. So now I'll just go back. We go 14 depot here. We are going to go for a 15 gas. As you can see, I'm the white player down here. 15 gas. And we are going to get our barracks next. At 16 supply, we're going to get a 16 barracks. And then we are going to 18 scout. Now, the reason we're 18 scouting is because we don't want to die to like proxy marine, proxy marauder, like all of these things. And I will be making a scouting guide for Terran versus Terran as well as all the matchups soon, so stay tuned for that. So we're going to go ahead and send our 18 scout across the map. And basically what we're looking for with the 18 scout is just the gases and whether or not there's an orbital. So you can kind of figure out what it is based on just that. And we're going to go ahead and get our command center just like with the Reaper expand. Alright, now because we played gas first, the build order is a little bit differently. Normally you would get your second depot right now, but because we have so much gas, we're going to get our factory first. We're going to make sure we queue up the worker here. And we're actually going to get our second gas as well before this depot. So we're delaying this depot by a lot. We're going to go second gas. We're going to go ahead and grab our depot here. And then we're going to make our tech lab as soon as we can afford it. Now with the Reaper, I send it across the map. This is just muscle memory. I recommend keeping the Reaper right here because we're only making one Reaper and we want to make sure that we are not losing this Reaper and that we're not like missing each other's Reaper in the center of the map and his Reaper ends up here and we're just sad. So I recommend keeping the Reaper here and then just sending it back at around, I'd say 230, 245. You can send the Reaper back. But I just send it across the map, like I said, just muscle memory. But I don't recommend doing that. Now, make sure you saturate your gas on time. And we're going to swap these so we can get a really fast Cyclone. Now you might be wondering, do we just die if somebody plays Reaper off of like a standard build order? And the answer is no. So the first Reaper pops at 210, and the Reaper takes 31 seconds to build. So that means that the second Reaper will finish at around 241, right? So we're building the Cyclone as the Reaper's coming across the map, and the Cyclone will finish just as the second Reaper arrives, right? So we're not actually, you know, playing greedily here, at least not in my opinion, especially with the 18 scout. So that's what we're doing. Now, we're going to grab a starport as soon as we have enough gas. So if you look at the gas here, it's a little bit late, but that's okay. Right around when we have 100 gas, we're going to go ahead and throw down that starport. And we're going to just go Cyclone into tank. Alright. Now, we're going to get our third gas as soon as our orbital finishes. Which you can get the third gas earlier, but I find that this is the perfect third gas timing is right after the orbital finishes. And we want to go ahead and get our third depot at around 38 supply. On the starport, we're just going to build a reactor. Don't make any marines. Don't swap with the starport. You can make marines if you want to be extra safe, but I recommend not doing this. And then the starport SCV is going to come over here, and he's going to build a third base. Now this third base is really fast, okay? In TvT, this third base is pretty fast here. So, yeah. Keep that in mind. Now with our tank, we are going to send the Reaper across the map. And with the Reaper, we want to scout this area. Because, like, I would say 90% of the time, maybe even higher than 90%, the starport is going to be here. And you can see what the add-on of the starport is. So if you can't scout this, I recommend just straight up scanning. And because our third base is so fast, I would recommend scanning, because why not? We're already winning in eco, especially because we're playing Reaper Expand. And what we're looking for is if he's playing like 2-1-1, so going for a really fast medevac drop, or if he's just playing standard and making Ravens. So that's where the Reaper goes. Now, we want to just keep producing tanks, and we want to produce Vikings. And of course, the Vikings have been buffed on the current patch. So, very nice time to start playing this build order, or these kinds of styles at least. And yeah, we're just building one depot at a time after our third depot, just building one depot at a time. And we're producing Vikings. We're going to get the orbital. We got our second factory here when we could afford it. And we're just constantly producing tank Viking. Okay? Now, I'm pausing versus the very easy AI, which is pretty funny. So when we take our third base, this is a really important moment, because the Raven push isn't going to hit right now, but we want to make sure that we're safe. So as we take our third base, we want to bring our tanks forward and go ahead and siege the tanks around our base here, so that way we're just extra safe. And we're going to get 6 gas immediately as soon as our third base lands. Also, as we're about to lift our third base here, we're going to go ahead and get a third factory and a reactor on the barracks. So third factory, reactor on the barracks. And I got my fourth gas pretty early as well. Let me just show you the fourth gas timing. So I got the fourth gas pretty early, around now. Pretty early fourth gas. When I'm about like 6 SCV saturated. Doesn't really matter. Just a pretty early fourth gas. We want this. So, yeah, we're getting our second factory. We're getting our orbital. Then we're going to go ahead and get our third factory, reactor on the barracks, and we're going to get 2 armories. Okay? Like I said, we're going to get 6 gas. And we are going to queue up cars. And we're going to float our barracks over here. Now, this is the time where the 3 Raven push hits. And this is why we needed to make sure that our Reaper scout was good. If we scout this area and see it's 2-1-1, we want our Vikings over here. We want a tank sieged here. And it's not necessary to have a tank in the main. You could like rally this one to the main if you wanted. But I think that just having Vikings and the Cyclone on the edge is more than enough. And if it's Ravens, we're going to keep our Vikings here. Or like in this general area. And we can use our Reaper, if we keep it alive, to scout like where our opponent's army is coming from. Right? And we want to make sure that they don't just come up and interference us and already start getting momentum. So depending on if they play 2-1 or Raven push is where we keep our Vikings. And this style is very fragile, okay? If you're out of position and they kind of catch you lacking, it's rough, okay? Also, we're going to go ahead and get Blue Flame. And we're just making tank, cars, Viking. Tank, cars, Viking. We're going to go ahead and get a 4th base right here. And, yeah. Also, if you notice that it's like 2-1-1, feel free to put up missile turrets. Like on the edges here. That's completely fine. Okay? Don't like sacrifice your third base like the 6 gas or like any like workers or anything, make sure you have constant units. I would say that you could delay the 4th base for the turrets, and that's completely fine. After our 4th base, we're going to get our eBay. So my eBay just finished. So with the 4th base, you're going to get the eBay. Make sure you queue up 1-1, blue flame, and you should also get servos for the Hellbats. Alright? And when you have money, just make command centers. Like I said, you can put up turrets now as well, but just make command centers when you're floating money. This is a really high gas style, and we're going to be able to make a lot of command centers. I'm actually supply blocked here for a little bit, it looks like, but that's alright. Yeah. So now comes another important moment. We're getting close to maxed, right? And we are now interested in if he's either making Vikings or medevacs. So if he's making Vikings, we want to continue making Vikings ourselves. We cannot lose air control. It's so important. Alright? But if he's making medevacs, we're going to start making medevacs of our own. And you might wonder, well, why are we making medevacs? We're playing mech. Like, is it healing the Hellbats? And it's actually a very cool move where we pick up the Hellbats and we drop on our opponent's bio. And Hellbats are actually very strong. You can drop them on your opponent's tanks as well. And they're very, very good. They deal a lot of damage. Not just plus versus light. So we got our 4th base, and we made sure that we brought tanks over here. Always bring tanks when you're taking your base, guys. This is a very fragile style. And you really want to abuse the fact that he can't aim move you. So look at how many tanks I have here, right? And just really abuse that. So we're also making Hellions that you can do run-bys with, of course. And yeah, we're not going to go past 5 factory, at least for a while. We're building our missile turrets, and we're going to go ahead and get 2 starports here. And I really think that this is the strength of the build, is going 2 starports here. Because if we get our army up, we get our tank Viking up, we're sitting here turtling, have crazy eco, crazy fast bases, and they don't punish us, they don't kill us, we can actually beat them in air control, and that's very annoying for the bio player. Just make command centers when you have a lot of money, guys. And you can see I'm making medevacs here just to demonstrate going 2 starports. Also, with the 2 starports, you should get a fusion core. I forget it for a little bit, but you want to get a fusion core. I would say, yeah, so right now is probably the latest you could get it, but earlier would be ideal. And yeah, sensor towers, make sure you're building bases, make sure you're bringing tanks, right? You can make orbitals, you know. And we're going to go up to 5 starports here. So I'm making more command centers. And at some point, I'm going to go up to 5 starports. So you can see like what I mean with the medevac drop. Now this is like a very small army, but I thought it would be funny if I just go ahead and drop on it. They unload really fast. So yeah, we're going 2 more starports. And yeah, that's basically it for the build order. So it's really important to make sure that you get the scouting because you don't want to die to early drops. That's a massive killer of mech. If you can't get the scouting, scan. It's okay. Alright? Always bring tanks to take your bases. If they're producing medevacs, you're going to make your own and drop on their bio, but you cannot lose in air control. Alright? On these starports, you're always going to make reactors. And on these starports, you can make tech labs. And you can even lift these starports later and make tech labs and go into battle cruiser. And have like a crazy air army where you have battle cruiser, Raven, Viking, Liberator. And that is a crazy air army, right? Also, you can make Thors. You really shouldn't fall behind in air control. But if you are, start making Thors. You can even make Thors earlier, right? And if your opponent trades poorly into you, just unsiege everything and go across the map and kill them. That's one of the biggest strengths of mech, is if they take a bad fight, you can 100% just unsiege and go kill them. That's something that the bio player is very scared of. But other than that, that's it for the build order. I hope I covered everything. There's so many different styles of mech that you could play, and Tank Viking is one of the most popular ones, at least that I face on ladder. So, if this video helped you, you want to see more mech content, please let me know. Also, let me know if you have any questions about this. Tell me if I'm wrong about anything. I love learning about the game, as you guys do as well. So, I hope you've had a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.